Welcome to Living a Life by Design. It's the journey back to you and living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. Did you know your accountability and possibility is by design? God designed a phenomenal life for you, gave you the gift of choice. Esther helps empower you to discover and pursue the purpose that is already in you. Are you ready to look at yourself and see your future? Then get back to what is really important in life and get in alignment with your true self. Stay tuned to Living a Life by Design. Journey back to you and start living 365 days of purpose with your host, Esther Graham. It all starts now.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in Living a Life by Design, 365 days, 365 days of purposeful living. Yes, it is really possible to create your life by design, to create a life by design. And it is possible to live 365 days of purpose, even in the midst of challenges. And so I'm so excited to have you today. And I'm so excited to have my special guest. Before I introduce her, just want to take a second and just let you know about a couple of things that we have coming up in the Life by Design community. I have my live event coming up in June in the great little state of Delaware. It will be in Wilmington, Delaware this year, June 27, 28, and 29. Tickets will be going on sale this month and the space is limited. So you want to make sure that you grab your ticket. We've got some phenomenal guests coming and we just have a wonderful time plan where we're going to, just do some things surrounding the Life by Design framework. And so I am so super excited about that. The second thing that we have coming up, or I have coming up, is that I launched my TV show, Creating Your Desired Life. It views on E360 TV, and it is every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then, of course, it replays on Tuesday evenings, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm so super excited. I have phenomenal guests, wonderful conversations. And listen, for this and the other show, make sure that you send in a picture of yourself. Make sure you send in anything that you want to ask. Make sure you send in anything that you want to celebrate, because part of your living your life by design is really getting celebration in your DNA. So we can celebrate who you are. And no matter how big your accomplishments are or how small you may think they are, celebration is good for the soul. And it just encourages you to continue moving. And now, my very special guest, who is very good at celebration. As a matter of fact, I was looking on Facebook, I believe it was very late last night, and I saw her having a dance party, and where she said, fear hates movement. And so true, because fear hates movement. And she was just dancing and she was saying, I'm just celebrating. And I thought, I have to ask her about that tomorrow when I talk to her, because I love to dance. And so everyone, I want you to welcome my very good friend, Moshe. Moshe, come on and just, reintroduce yourself. Let me just finish up though. Moshe is absolutely a wonderful person. I've listened to her story several times, and she has a product where she'll be speaking about Mother of Earth that I absolutely love. And when I tell you it works, y'all, it works. But her story, in pain brings purpose. And I think that Moshe is an excellent example of the pain with chronic illness that she has gone through that has pushed her to her purpose, to where she's living a life that if you look back and you see her now, you're like, it's just unbelievable, right? Unrecognizable. And how she's just unapologetically who she is. And I'm so super excited. So Moshe, I want you to reintroduce yourself and just begin by telling us your story.
Absolutely. I am so happy to be here with you again, Esther. And in listening to you tell my story, it brought up so much emotion and pride, and it was worth the struggle. And we do go through them. And for me, it was having what I thought was the perfect life at the time. married, kids, good job. And then one day I could not get out of bed. Body would move, nothing would work for me. And I was like, what is going on? Crying in pain. 6 months, 8 months later, I get diagnosed with the lupus. So completely stopped my world. Fell into depression. I asked God, why? What did I do? I'm a good servant heart, humble. Like, what did I do? I would always ask why. And as I dealt with the mental struggle to get through that, because at the time I was the matriarch of my family. I was the one who made all the decisions. And I know there's a lot of people in your audience that fulfill that role. So you know what it takes to carry that. I was down. I was out. I was not the same person. And then I decided this was just a comma in my life. And I needed to slow down a little bit and not take the diagnosis as a punishment, but as an enlightenment. And because I didn't want to adhere to certain mindsets, I just changed it. I was like, I'm done. This is not what I'm here for. This is not my destiny. This is not why God put me on this earth. I have a purpose. So I was really excited when you mentioned that in your intro. And I decided to change and just not accept it. And as you noticed, I call it the lupus. I never claimed it. It's not mine. It was a comma.
I love how you said you'd made a decision to put a comma. And what I get from that is that many times, we put a period on something when God puts a comma, and that it's just a comma means there's the next. There's the next. This is not the end. This is not the end. I love
it. Pay attention. It's a pay attention comma.
It's a pay attention.
How you living? How you treating people? Where's your faith? What are you standing on? You're moving too fast. You're losing your ground. Sit down and ground yourself. And I honestly believe that, Esther, from my soul. Because of the journey and how I was enlightened and how I watched others around me. I started meeting people with similar or same diagnoses. And Esther, they were just in it. And I didn't see myself in it. I see myself looking at it. But people were like, and they said, I have to take this medicine and I have to do this and I can't do this, like a whole bunch of and I could not subscribe. I could. And so I think that was my motivation to say, there's another way.
I think, Moshe, a lot of people are in it. You know what I mean? And so they see themselves in it. And I love how you said, I didn't see myself in it, because your perception is everything. How you perceive yourself, what you didn't, and really that has a lot to do with your faith and your healing. And so if I see myself in it, then it's going to be hard for me to maybe come out of it. Absolutely. And so you didn't see yourself in it. You said you saw yourself looking at it. Right. And so when I could look at something, I see what it is. And then I make a decision as to what I need to do to cancel it, remove it.
What's next? How do I fix it?
What's next?
I see the purpose of it. I'm not dealing with it anymore. We're not struggling. There's no debate. I see you. Just like we want to be seen in some situations. We do some crazy stuff to be seen. I did some crazy stuff. I'm digging deeper into my story and realizing that it was way before the lupus that my life was constantly transitioning. And it all meant something and took me to the next level. Oh my God.
Did you ever sometimes feel like, before you came to this point that, your life constantly transitioning, and sometimes, because y'all, I know this is not just me or Moshe, or, if it's you as well, go ahead and hit us up in chat, do some love on Moshe, ask any questions. So if you guys see me looking down, I'm checking my Facebook page, I'm checking to see. But many times when we're in that state, Moshe, we think that's how we're supposed to operate, and this is how it's supposed to be. Have you ever heard someone say, well, it is what it is, and so, this is how this is my lot in life,
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes we think that we're okay. Oh, no, I'm good. When really you're not. But many times we don't realize that we're not. Do you think that's what happened
Yes.
with you?
Absolutely. Because sis, at that moment, I was working a full-time job. I was a licensed securities broker, so high finance.
Right, right.
I had 4 children. I had a husband. We had just bought a house. He was a truck driver, so he was on the road. So up until that point, Esther, I'm thinking, I got this.
Yeah.
I got it. But now that in retrospective, I look at it, how long would I have lasted before that comma came up?
Yeah.
Long,
Yeah.
I would have burnt out long before I would have never gotten in the vicinity of my purpose.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If I had that comma.
Do you think that before the comma that there was a period? Because I think sometimes in our lives that we do put a period on some things. And I know with me, what I realized when I did my book, Why Stepping into Purpose, one of the things I learned was that purpose go in stages. You know what I mean? But sometimes if we're not careful, we'll put a period on that stage that's just supposed to be a comma.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, yeah.
I
And so
agree.
it's so interesting because I think that we put a lot of periods on areas. And yet God has this like phenomenal plan for us, like boom, that will blow our mind. And sometimes, like you said, you said, God, why is this happening? I've been a servant, I've did this, I love people, I'm kind, I do good things, I do all of these, all these things. It's like, whoa. And then what did you realize after that conversation with God?
Well, as you said that, something came into my mind, nothing but spirit probably. And during those moments, I used to cry in the shower by myself. I had so much pride. I couldn't let my kids see me weaken. I couldn't let my husband see I was losing it. Me and God fighting in the shower with the water. He made a deal: when this is over, you let it go down the drain and we leave it alone until next time. Because there were many shower tears, many, many.
Yeah.
But as you were saying that, it made me feel that every time I asked God, why, the change came in my action. I never really got an answer. It changed when my mindset changed. I gave myself my own why. See, he doesn't make it easy for you to get there because it won't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I had to have those continual conversations. Why? Like, okay, I'm checking myself when I was little. I'm checking myself when I was a teenager. I was a good daughter. I was a good girlfriend when I had boyfriends. I was a good friend. Like, where did I mess up? Why is this happening? So those never got an answer.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was like the free will that we have. You figure it out, because when you figure it out, you'll stand on it stronger. If I just
love that.
give it to you, you're going to take it for granted. Like I did all those lessons before. It wasn't until I got to that comma that I realized, oh my God, all of that has been elevating each transition, as you were saying, each purpose, each evolution of the purpose. And then there was this big explosion. It was like, oh my God, you guys have been tied together all along. So if we won't see it, we'll take it for granted. So it kind of got to shake us up a little, especially me. I was hard-headed back then.
Yeah. But I love how you said that you had to discover your own why, because here we go again. Sometimes, we wait for someone, or we wait for God to tell us, okay, you're going through this because, or this happened because. And I think sometimes we look for the why because we're trying to figure it out. Have you ever heard that song? Why are we trying to figure it out when God's already worked it out? We just got to get the clue. You know what I mean? We just we just have to get a clue as to what. But you said you had to figure out your own why. How did that feel when you began to say, oh, wait a minute, let me put a comma, let me figure out my why, and now let me make some changes?
Because of two things. One was because of what I mentioned earlier about thinking I had it all together.
Yeah.
So it was a tad bit of arrogance, a little bit. I got this, and wow, look at me and look at what I'm doing, and not knowing that I'm just draining myself to nothing. There's nothing in the cup. There's nothing in the saucer. There's no water fountain nearby. Like there's nothing happening. So I was at that point. So it took me a minute for it to seep in that, okay, you need to let that go and just be still.
Yeah.
And I literally felt like I surrendered again to God.
Yeah. Yeah.
And let him drive and let him do that plan.
Yeah, let him take the wheel, because it sounds like if at one point too that you were really not, you were serving from your from your cup. I think we do that a lot. Well, you and I know we talk about the cup and serving from the overflow, and so. But many times, I want to say, especially women, I'm not saying that this does not happen to men as well, but especially as women, we're mothers, we're daughters, we're wives, we're girlfriends, we're Indian chiefs, we're doctors, we're lawyers, we're ministry, we're this, we're that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We're everything to everyone,
Yes.
except for ourselves.
Yes.
And if we're not careful, we bring on different types of things on our bodies. And then here it is. I love what you said. You thought you had it all together. Mm-hmm. And you didn't realize that you were serving from a depletion because you were so empty.
Yep.
And yet sometimes even being so empty, we go and we cry. Listen, I understand the shower crying, because that is so much me. That is me. I'm in the shower, y'all. I'm just being really trying. I'll do all my crying in the shower. I come out the shower and I'm like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah. Wait for that fog to disappear off the mirror. So
wait for that fog.
You refreshed you.
You refresh and put everything on until the next shower.
The next time.
So true. And
self-therapy. You do what you got to do.
Yeah, you do, until you get to where you need to get to.
And even in those tears, there was still no answer. I never got an answer.
Yeah.
But yet I would still see a different me in that reflection. Never lower than when I went in. Yeah. Always higher.
And I was going to say, and with every shower, I know for me, like with every shower and with every tear, something was washing off so I could see clearer, so I could hear. And I like to say that God speaks to me in the water. And since I don't live near a beach, I don't live near a lake or anything. Well, I live near, but it's not in my backyard or to where I'm sitting and looking at it. Mm-hmm. Showers are it. And so sometimes, and that's when I could really hear, because I feel sometimes that's when I'm just, it's those tears and it's that water that just washes. Do you think that?
Yes, absolutely. That visualization is so, so real. I needed that.
Yeah.
Because if I walked out of that shower with that gunk still on me and then go receive more, I would have broke.
Yeah.
I would have broke.
Yeah. It's amazing the things that we go through and how, we'll come back and we're going to take a quick break, but we'll come back and talk about how is it then you begin to release that ego, because we come out and we say, oh yeah, we got it, when inside we're still like hurting. How did you begin to say, let me release this and let me now begin to put commas where commas are needed?
I can't wait for that.
Yeah, we'll be right back, everyone. We're going on a quick break. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Living a Life by Design with me, Dr. Esther Graham, and my very special guest, Moshe. She is the CEO of Mother of Earth, correct? And of course, we'll talk about that just a little bit. We want to hear the powerful story. And what I love about Moshe's story is that when you look at her, you can see yourself. And when you see how healed that she is, if you're feeling that you can't be healed, you can look at her and say, oh yeah, I can be healed as well. So let's talk about where we left off, Moshe, that how did you go about, because many times we say, I got this, but how did you go about releasing and putting commas in the different places?
Great question. Oh my goodness. I couldn't wait to answer this. The first part was humbling myself. I don't got this. I'm not okay. You know how they say now, I'm not okay.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay not to be okay,
Mhm.
which hit my pride a little bit, which is why I cried in the shower and not in public.
In
And
public. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
so I humbled myself. And then because I really didn't have the answer, I didn't know what to do. And part of my healing was the fact that I went back to a simple mindset. So that's
Ooh.
where the mindset change came in. And I was like, well, obviously, my body is reacting to something. I'm in control of what I put in my body.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let me release. One of the things I had to release was that generational food mindset of what I
Oh,
ate.
yeah.
Like some things we ate because that's all we had. I remember eating potatoes for at least 6 months. That's all we had.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now I have control of that. It has to have some effect because what does it say? Too much of anything is not good for you.
Yeah.
So I start cutting back on certain things and changing that part of my mindset. And what happened in that transition was my thoughts started to become clear because my body was cleaner. So then I was in
That your thoughts began to get clear because your body was cleaner. Because it's on
cleaner
a
because
system.
my
Yeah.
body was cleaner. It had
Yeah.
natural things in it. My brain was thinking different. It was providing a different kind of blood flow. Like you have to really think about that transition when you change your mindset and why it's so important. So as during that transition, all of this is happening. I'm being enlightened. They're still giving me pills and drugs, and it did not resonate with me.
Right. Right.
Just let me just put it. I didn't resonate with prescription drugs. So my mom used to have this book called The Back to Eden, about this thick,
I
and it
know
was
that book. Yeah.
Jethro Cross, I think is his
Yeah.
name.
Yeah. It's a thick
Yeah,
book. Yeah.
anything happened. My mom's book was used. It had open spots, like bent pages. So I went back to that, and I was like, okay. They said I need something for anti-inflammatory for the lupus. I'm taking this pill twice a day, 200 milligrams. Has to be something in here. What herbs do that? What essential oils do that?
Right. Right. Right.
I would rather put that on my body every single day and know the benefits of it than take prescription meds and don't know what's going to happen in 15 years.
Right. 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 Yeah.
So the thoughts became that simple. The more I invested in myself and my health, and I started getting closer and closer to my purpose because I had clear visions. I was dreaming again. I was sleeping well, like everything. Went back to the doctor maybe 14 months after this mindset change, which was also a lifestyle change. And I was in remission.
Wow.
It just shut off like a light switch.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, that happens. I said, no, 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 no. This is going to be forever for me. It's not that happens.
Yeah.
You know?
I love what you're saying because really you're saying that you made up your mind, you made up a mindset shift. And as you shifted all of those things, and you began to eat, your body got clean, which means your thoughts got clean and everything. And of course, you were in remission. I want you to go back because you said you had to shift and you went back to a simple mindset. What does that look like for you? A simple mindset?
One, I'm not doing everything. I started to delegate some things and release some stuff so that I didn't have to make myself accountable because I had support.
Right.
I had help, but I wanted to do everything. So I had to let that go. And then just looking at my diet, what was I eating? Like that's a simple thing we take for granted. We get hungry, we go through a drive-through sometimes.
Or eat chips.
We don't say, I think it's better for me to wait till I get home and eat some fresh vegetables.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe. No, that's not even secondary thought. That's way down at the end. It's like, I'm hungry, I want to eat, let me go. But what is that doing to yourself? So that simple mind thing, like what products am I using on my body that could have a side effect to alter my autoimmune system which gave me that diagnosis of the lupus. Like what? And then it just got simpler and simpler. And then what am I driving? What can I change? Where can I decide to make a left or a right or a U-turn? You know, what can I control? The rest of the stuff, let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because stress causes disease. I don't
It
care
does.
what disease it is. I don't care if it's a
Does.
skin rash on the front of your hand. I don't care if it's something more serious.
Yeah.
Started somewhere with stress. And I knew that when I went into remission because Mary J. Blige's song was out called No More Drama.
Right. Yeah.
And I was putting on my shea butter one morning, which is part of the regimen to love myself, to take that time to pay attention. And it came on. And I was like, that's right. I got to put everybody on notice. No more drama. I don't do drama, any shape, form, or fashion, because that controls how my body's going to react. So I can drive that. And I just have to be around people that respect it. And if they don't, I got to shut it down.
You set those healthy boundaries.
Those healthy boundaries start there.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. So you went to the doctor 14 months after your diagnosis, and they said, okay, well, that's normal. And then what did they tell you? And then what did you, even moving forward now, what did you do?
Well, 14 months was after a 4-year depression, that shower tears.
Yeah.
And then looking in the mirror and seeing my steroid cheeks, and people that take steroids know what they do to your body.
Right, right.
And I didn't have this conversation with God in the shower. I had it with him face to face in the mirror. And I go, I'm not accepting this. I know you gave me more to do, and I'm up for it. So what do I need to do to get this together? Then the diet, then the clarity, then the clean eating, and then it's still snowballing. I don't know where I'm going. I'm on a mission. That's part of my purpose.
Yeah, you're on a mission, and you're healthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I can read my body. Like when you get so in tune, if I feel a certain way, I go, okay, it's time to slow down.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I don't want to trigger anything that I've already denounced. It's not there. But I do know my body well enough to go, okay, yeah, you had really nice dinners with a nice wine. It's time to go back to sparkling water.
Yeah, yeah.
Because your body reacts. I had a bag of chips, Esther, Monday. By Wednesday, and I haven't had any for like a month. By Wednesday, I had a pimple on my face. I'm 57 years old. I don't do pimples well. So I was like, oh my God, it was just one bag of chips. But when you know better, you're accountable to do better.
Right, right.
And so I switched it, and I juiced some juices, and, went and got some bell peppers and some hummus, and was like, okay, these are my snacks. So we are in control of that, to answer your question. You're the driver. It's just when you want it bad enough, what are you going to do?
That's key, I think, right there is when you want it bad enough. What are you going to do? When are you going to stop making excuses as to why you are where you are? And I think the driver is when you want it bad enough. I want it bad enough, so I'm willing to make the sacrifices so I could do this. And so, even with the little pimple, it's like, you know what? My body reacted to this, but my body's saying, wait a second, where is this coming from? And that's enough to take you back. I want everyone to hear that this is a journey, and what Moshe is saying, or I'm saying, we're not telling you if you're on meds or whatever to get off of it. Disclaimer. No. This is what has worked for her. And so, and what we are saying is that we have choices, and you get to decide, you get to design how you're going to live your life and what you're going to do and what you're going to become in alignment with. And that's what I hear that you're saying clearly is that you just made up your mind, and then you didn't have that shower conversation. You had that mirror conversation, and you said, okay, God, basically what we going to do here. And I like to say, we say to God, okay, God, what we going to do here? And I sometimes I hear God say, I don't know what you're going to do. You know what I mean? Because many times what you're going to do, and then I'm going to come with you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to walk with you, and I'm going to show you and teach you and do all these things. But we get to decide.
Yes.
And I hear you saying that I decided. And really, I know that's what led you to love me first, because that's really, you came out of loving everybody else. And by the way, loving me first doesn't mean that, a lot of people think that's selfish. It's not selfish. But many times we think, well, if you just love me and you're all about you, it's not that. I still love everybody else. I still do everything for everybody else. But now I've got to love me first, because if I don't, then how could I do for you?
And you have to claim it. You have to say it.
Yeah.
You have to say it with conviction, because we've trained ourselves not to do it and think, oh, but I'm being a good person.
Yeah.
Doing for others. But you have to do for you first.
Yeah.
So love yourself first. And then you have so much fuel to give. Oh my gosh.
It's like being on the airplane, even every time we get on a plane, which has been often, but even like last week, we had our grandloves with us, and we did spring break with them. And, the steward come, don't forget, if anything happens, put your oxygen mask on first before you do theirs.
Yep.
This is a rule of life.
Yes.
Let me put mine on first. Let me love me first. Before I could. Yeah.
You have to. And it took me a long time, Esther. It did not happen overnight.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just because of the lupus.
Yeah.
It took me a long time, because even after that diagnosis and the change in lifestyle, and I had to slow down and work on boundaries to even, first of all, what was a boundary? I didn't have any. And so when I got it, it was like so empowering that you actually feel like I can do anything. Yeah. I can do. So it starts trickling down in everything in your life. It starts trickling down in your relationship with your children, with your spouses, with your friends, in the decisions that you make. You have a different clarity of how much control that you actually have to have the things that you want to have in your life. So self-care is number one, and people take it for granted. And I'm here to say, I don't want you to take it for granted. Take notice to it. Put some rules up. Make it happen for yourself.
Make it happen. We'll come back and talk about that some more, that self-care, that loving me first, and even the product, one of the things that you developed and did. So we'll be right back, everyone. Let's go on a break. Welcome to Living a Life by Design. And I have my very special guest, Moshe. I'm so super excited. Listen, y'all, we've been having a powerful conversation. And so now, Moshe, when we left, we talked about loving yourself first. And I know that has been very key for your healing, not just, and this is what I love about this conversation, because in the Life by Design framework, I've got like 7 areas, and you kind of, everything that you're doing is just brings it into that whole woman. It's the spiritual, it's the relationship, it's the finances, it's the mental and the wellness, the physical, it's just everything. And it comes into loving yourself first, where you began to do some things that led you to creating a product that I absolutely love. But can you talk to us a little about, even more about loving yourself first and what that led you to? We know you've set healthy relationship boundaries, but let's talk about that and tell us what you created.
Absolutely. So the product was created from my story, from my experience, from my journey, because one of the things that I pride myself on is representing things that I know is truth.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about stuttering. I don't have to worry about what did I say? Because it is what it is. And I'm not going to speak out of that. So through my journey, as I pushed away from the prescription meds, I wanted to live a different kind of life. And so it was so crazy. I just wanted to be well again. I wanted to not have the diagnosis at all. And so the hunger was do it right the first time. Let's get this. And
Well,
so,
body, soul, and mind.
yes, all of it, box it all up. I'll take it. And so I did the research, went to my herbal books. We got Professor Google. We got everything that we can use. And I interpreted Professor Google, and I let it fit in the space that I needed it. I didn't take too much. I still wanted my experience and my journey to be a part of what I created. And I put everything that I would have taken equivalent possibly to some of the prescription meds, and found the herbs and the oils and the butters. And then the very special key part ingredient, which is not listed, is just me wanting to heal and do what God put me here to do. To show up and care for somebody, to have compassion for someone, to hold their hand when they feel lonely, to be an ear, to nurture, like whatever. I'm just a servant heart. And so that ingredient is in every jar, because that's where I found my healing. I started to love myself like that, like I cared. And I wanted to be here and represent. So started out in Tupperware containers. Like I literally just went in the kitchen. We use shea butter every day, all the time anyway. But then I'm like, well, we do this every day. I could put some form of healing in a jar and do it 2 or 3 times a day, and it'll be equivalent to taking a pill. That's my mindset. I mean, that's how I saw it. I talked myself into it like that. I'd rather put it on my skin than take it and don't know what the outcome, the side effects 10 years down the line is good. That was me. So we went completely holistic and just got in the lab. And I mixed it up in my kitchen with a KitchenAid blender to make it whipped, put the right combinations together. And during the summer, I even add a little citronella, so you have a little bug repellent. And you know about that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it's literally healing in the jar. It's called a healing blend, but it can't do anything without mindset check. Like people buy it, they go, I bought it because of your story. And yeah, I have eczema, but it's like they'll tell me it's because I start looking at it as a thing and that it didn't belong to me. Every time I put that on, they said, I think that was part of the healing. I think so. I think so, that mindset. So I always start out with love yourself. When you open that jar, you got 2, maybe 3 minutes, head to toe, toe to head, whichever way you go, to just pour into yourself and think about your day and say your affirmations and tell yourself that you're beautiful. 2 to 3 minutes. And if you're really feeling good, take it to 5. Say, I need a 5-minute love myself session. Let me just remind myself who I am and how God made me to be. And you feed your own self energy, which fills your cup to go out and do whatever greatness you're going to do in the world. That's what I believe. I'm living on it, because even when I go down, my snap is like that. Like I go, okay, that was that lesson. Let me move on. I don't marinate anymore. Like that's what comes with the enlightenment. So it's a journey. It's exactly what you said it is. It's a journey.
So, what I love, I have 2 stories with the Mother of Earth. And number one, I've told you this before, which really made me a believer, was when my son had this really bad rash breakout, and he'd had it for weeks. I mean, weeks. And he went to the doctor, was taking medicine, all of these different things, and it never cleared up. It just kept getting worse. And so I gave him this, I said, well, try this. And man, I gave that to him. And I'll be honest, I don't know. It's my son, so I don't know if he did all that. But because I gave it to him, he said, well, he knows I don't give him anything that I don't think will work. And I said, just try this and see. And he called me. He said, oh my gosh, Mom, it's cleared up. It's cleared up. And so that's the story. And then, of course, when I went away to Italy, and a lot of the people, they didn't have I did my retreat in Italy and I had mine. Of course, I didn't think at the then to get everybody some, but when everyone was complaining of mosquito bites, I didn't have any, you know, because, and I still have people salty about that now. Like, why didn't you done something? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
It's
now,
okay.
my next retreat is coming up next month in Dubai. And what did I do? I ordered some for everyone. So now part of in their package, when they get to Dubai, they'll have Mother of Earth so they can rub on it. But what I love about what you're saying and what I'm going to do is when I give it to my retreat attendees, in May, I'm going to tell them exactly what you said.
Love it.
Is as you're rubbing it on, don't just, because everything else, we just rub it and,
Mhm.
we love something smells good and we're doing it. But take that time to love on yourself and speak to your body, speak to yourself, bless your body, bless yourself and say, I am beautiful. And if something, I'm being healed, you know,
Yes.
I always talk about what my husband and I always say, I am healed, I'm being healed, and I shall be healed. I'm on
Mm.
this path of
Mhm.
continual healing.
Yes.
This
Starts
journey
with you. It starts with you.
starts. So I love that. So talk a little bit more about Mother of Earth and then what it has done, because I know even for you with eczema, my grandloves have eczema and I put it on them. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I have testimonies from eczema, psoriasis, dry scalp, the razor bumps that some men get.
Yeah.
I tell them to wash, which I'm in the process of developing a soap to accompany it, the healing
Good.
process, and then to make sure that it's clean and apply it, and rave reviews. Not to mention the aromatherapy that's in it. Like, these are things to represent no more drama. You remember that story.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No more.
calming lavender, no more drama. And then anxiety, there's a little peppermint in there just to give you a breath of fresh air. There's
Mm.
lavender, there's chamomile to keep your skin soft, and sweet basil oil. Like, goodness, like in a jar. And
Yeah.
it starts with the mindset before you scoop out your first scoop. What am I going to do for myself today? First, I'm going to start off with loving me. And then you just rub it on and just go into your own self-praise. And then, of course, give thanks to God in the midst of.
In the
But
midst of
it's
it.
all a part of the mindset. And the more we do that, the more we represent that out in the world with no words.
And when you're rubbing it, it just kind of nicely melts and warm up. But you could even put it in the microwave for a couple of seconds if that's you want, but you really don't. It just warms up.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when
that's
it
part of the
warms up,
process.
it just smoothly goes over your body and it feels so good. But I do think that you do have to have the right mindset along. It's going to heal if that's what you want it to do.
Mhm. Absolutely.
And I love how you said that when you make it and you're doing it, you're speaking to it. Listen, sometimes we forget that our words have power.
Mhm.
Our words can literally change the world. Our words can literally change our lives. But
Yes,
we forget. I sometimes forget.
yes, yes. And we have to remind ourselves that even if it's a turn to the left and you get a whiff of that aromatherapy, like, if you know what it represents, you already know how to act. You smell that lavender, you go, okay, let me calm down.
Yeah, yeah.
Let me calm down. It's okay. You happen to have a good idea and you do your hands like that and you feel how soft your skin is and you remember how you started your day, because I love them myself. Like, little bitty things just elevate us in certain directions. And that's what I meant by, with no words, we just radiate this positivity and healing and love and compassion and everything we're supposed to represent out there.
Yeah.
And you don't know who's in the room that actually needs to receive it. but you're representing.
You're
So it's
representing.
always the mindset.
It's always the mindset. I'll tell you another quick. So my granddaughter last week, when I called her and I said, come on, because we were headed out again. And I said, come on, let me put this on you. And I put it, and this was the first day. And she goes, I smell the mosquito. She said, basically she didn't know citronella, but she's like, I smell it. I said, yeah. So I said, you're not going to get mosquito. She said, yep, I'm not going to get it. And so I guess it's just those things that I'm like, oh, it's just so great. Tell me a little bit about now what for you. Where are you right now in your life and everything? What do you want to share?
So I'm actually looking at my wall in my office, and I have maybe 8 or 9 ginormous Post-its because I've been getting these brain dumps. Sometimes you have a block and you kind of work with what you got, and then you get this big spark of, oh my God, I got this idea, I got to do this. And eventually they'll tie together. So I'm mapping all that out. I'm building my brand. I will be adding products such as body scrubs, soaps, lip balms. I'm working on a King's blend for our men so that they are happy, healthy, and they have to keep their balance as well as we do. Or I don't even call it balance. They have to keep the harmony because you're constantly moving and interacting with people.
Definitely harmony, not
It's
balance.
not balance. Don't try. And I'm
By the way, let me add, as you're adding that men brand, men can still use what you have now because my husband uses it. Okay. Yeah. We get the auto ship. Ani has the auto ship come in and we use it every month. Yeah. So men, if you're listening, you can still use it. It doesn't smell feminine. It just has a nice calming feeling. Yeah.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So building those brands up, and then I'm going to do more of this, more podcasts. I'm working on a blog as well. And
Good.
we talked about going global, and I just want to get closer and closer to that because we talked about that on another show.
Yeah.
And I want to get closer and closer, but I'm realizing that the story that I'm standing on consists of hundreds. I was literally standing in one story, the lupus, but my story encompasses so many different intersections of journeys and experiences that I think that's what's causing these brain dumps because I'm in overflow of information. So I got to get it out. I think God is just pouring it in. It's like planting seeds. And so I'm waiting for the harvest and I'm doing the work. I'm excited to do the work. I'm investing in myself. And more so, I want to be an example to others that may fit in my story.
Yeah.
And that does 2 things. That helps me fulfill what I believe is part of the purpose given to me in my life, which is just to serve. I rattled my brain in a class a couple of weeks ago, and they were like, what do you think your purpose is? Who's your audience? What are you here for? I didn't have an answer, and I felt some kind of way.
Yeah.
And then it just went back to that simple thought, Esther, that simplicity. I'm just here to serve.
Yeah.
I'm here to serve.
That's big.
That's huge. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay because I have no limits. So whatever my purpose is to be fulfilled, whatever falls in there, I'm there. So I just inducted that into my own mantra. It was like, it's not a big deal. You don't need a whole paragraph. You here to serve, girl.
That's good. So listen, that's phenomenal. Listen, everyone, we're getting this conversation is so powerful. And whenever you listen to it, you've got to take it all in. We're going to take a quick break and then Moshe's going to come back. She's got a treat for you. And then she's going to tell you how you can get her products because you are going to want to get it. And she even, so she'll share with you. And we'll be right back in about less than a minute. Hello, and welcome back. Listen, Moshe is going to share with you now how you can get her Mother of Earth product, and she's got a special surprise and discount for you. So go ahead, Moshe.
Absolutely. So you can find the information for my product in the chat. Here, it's a Bitly website, and it goes straight to Shopify. I just made a super big batch. because I had to do some for Esther's event. And so I just made extra, so it'll get shipped immediately. You can also check out my IG, which is Mother of Earth Healing. And upcoming events is I'm speaking at the Girl Powerhouse Network here in Las Vegas on the weekend of April 26th and 27th. I'll actually be doing a keynote. Oh my God, who is this person right here?
Congratulations.
So you can also DM me to get information about that. I've also been asked to do a retreat in May. So in Cancun, again, what is happening here, but I'm along for the ride and the journey so I can come back and share with you guys. Of course, Esther has all of my contact information and you can get me through her, and her people have all of my stuff too. And I'm always willing to come back and share and just be a part of how we take care of ourselves and why it's important.
And she will definitely be back. And listen, she also has a 30%, is it 30% discount when
I think it's 15.
15, I'm sorry, a 15%
And
discount.
And it's the number one motto, love yourself is the discount code.
Yep.
Love yourself.
Love yourself is
Yes.
the discount code. So you want to purchase it. And she even does not direct deposit. What is it called?
Monthly subscriptions.
Monthly subscription. So you
Yes.
want to get this product because I'm telling you, y'all, it works. You're absolutely going to love it. Thank you, Moshe, so much for joining me on Living a Life by Design. Everything will be posted on YouTube and Transformation Talk Radio, on my Facebook page, on the website, everything. So please, and on Moshe's Facebook page. And if you don't know where, just DM and reach out and say, hey, I need to get this product. I need the 15% code, and I will most certainly make sure that you get it. God bless you. Thank you for joining us in A Life by Design. Let's love on Moshe. Take care and God bless. See you next time. Bye.
You have been listening to Living a Life by Design, the journey back to you, and living 365 days of purpose with host Esther Graham. Listen or watch live every second and fourth Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific on TransformationTalkRadio.com. Discover that what is possible is already in you. God designed a phenomenal life for you. Esther helps you ignite that energy behind your personal journey for a deeper joy and peace. Living 365 days of purpose. For more information on living a life by design, visit fddwomen.com.